Robinson
All right.
Show. We are on with filmmaker Ken Carlson. How have you been, dude?
I am doing well, quite well, man. How are you guys doing?
Good, good. Yeah, as best as can be in this COVID shit going down. What have
Yeah,
you?
man. That's all pretty lame. I guess
What's that?
I'm pretty lucky to be doing awesome. I'm pretty lucky to be doing awesome considering that that's going on.
No, it's hopefully it'll be gone in the next fucking year or so. I'm hoping. I don't know with vaccinations and all. We'll see. But yeah, dude, we first connected when you did Dead Drift, and that's been a while, right?
Yeah, no, it has. It's been a few minutes, as the kids say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, we first connected on that, and then we had you on later when you did Palabras, and now you have a new
Penny
comic. Oh, sorry, Ken.
No, you're good. Yeah, no, I just made a comic book, and also Roscoe the Junkyard Cat, which
Yes.
is like a sitcom pilot about a foul-mouthed junkyard cat puppet. That's on Amazon, and it's hilarious and like totally vulgar and fun.
Oh, I did. I remember you mentioned it last time, and I do want to see it. And is it episodes or is it a movie?
It's actually just one episode. It's like the pilot episode, and I don't know who to shop this stuff around to. So
Adult Swim.
that's all it is. It's just one episode.
Is Adult Swim still around? Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like they'd love that.
That's a good idea. I should see about getting in touch with them.
Yeah, yeah, man. But this comic, Hellbound Slant 6, heavy metal, hot rod horror comic. It's so good, so good. Well,
Very cool.
what can you tell us about it?
Man, so this is a comic book that is about this girl that's a roadie for a heavy metal, outdoor heavy metal touring concert, and she gets a call from her mom, and it turns out that her mom is dying. So she leaves the tour to go be with her mom at the end, and her mom don't exactly have the best relationship. You know, things are pretty strained. On the way home to visit her mom, driving her 1971 Panther Pink Dodge Demon, she realizes that she has been pulled into the netherworld, the dimension we know as hell, where she is accosted by demons and, has to fight them with her car and her shotgun. And yeah, man, that's the comic in a nutshell.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's really good. Is she going across back and forth between the realms, or is she just now in hell?
So basically, the first issue kind of sets up how she ends up in hell along her drive, and then it's planned as a 4-issue series. So there's going to be 3 more. She will be in hell the whole time.
Okay, I didn't know. I didn't know if it would just keep creeping back.
Her goal essentially is to get home to see her mom, as her mom is dying of cancer. And so, like, this whole being pulled into hell thing is really kind of getting in the way of that. So she spends the comic trying to figure out how to get out of hell to see her mother before the end.
Nice.
And of course, because she ends up having to make a deal with Satan and whatnot, that comes into play.
Nice.
I also love how she loves her car and she says, "Oh, I can drive it to hell and back," and then it happens to end up in hell. So I thought that was really cool.
That was so that car, the Dodge Demon, usually the Slant 6, but like Chrysler made this motor called the Slant 6 that was just notoriously indestructible, like bulletproof. You couldn't kill it. Wasn't fast, didn't sound cool, but like it would last forever. And so that's kind of the idea there, is that she drives this car into hell because you could drive it to hell and back. It's like bulletproof.
I love that. I love that. I want to ask too. At the end of the issue, Aleister Crowley, is that based on the real occultist from history?
Absolutely.
Nice. And how did you choose him? Have you always been like fascinated with him?
He is, I think, absolutely fascinating. And there's that Ozzy song that kind of introduced me and a lot of other people of my generation to who Aleister Crowley was.
Yes.
And then, reading more about him and learning kind of what he was about. It's fascinating. Like, I don't necessarily believe in kind of the stuff that he was doing, but I still think it's really intriguing that there was a dude like that, saying that kind of stuff just not very long ago.
Yes. Love it.
And like he had something to do with a king. I know he was like very much involved, like maybe just like I don't know, employed by a king or something. I've read a little bit about Aleister Crowley and his ideals. It's very, very bizarre.
Yeah, absolutely. He was an interesting guy for sure.
Yeah.
So there will be in the next issue 2 of Hellbound Slant 6. Danielle gets to meet and interact with a few historical figures because she kind of ends up in like a roadhouse bar, and I decided to populate the roadhouse bar with a bunch of like historical figures that are interesting or notorious.
Nice.
I hope you put Patrick Swayze in that roadhouse bar.
Oh, goddamn. That'd be cool. I was thinking like Nikola Tesla, but
No,
yeah,
Patrick Swayze needs to be there.
Does need to be there. At least in the background of a scene.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. He 100% needs to be the bouncer at this place.
Yes. When will the next issue be out, Ken?
So so the first issue took me 20 years to create because I started writing and drawing this thing when I was like 19 years old. And then I just kind of never did anything with it over the last 20 years because, whatever reasons.
Life. Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm hoping that I will have the second issue out by the end of summer.
Cool. I did love reading in the beginning too about it. Yeah. You had this plan in high school to write this, and now you just put it on the back burner. And now you had the time to do it, so you did it.
Right, that's it, man. Life, kind of happens, and a lot of it was what I've found over 43 years of trying to do this stuff is that I don't have time to work full time and keep a roof over my head and food in my belly and indulge in 3 simultaneous comic book filmmaking and music or writing projects at the same time.
Yeah.
I essentially have to focus on one of them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I basically feel like I spent a lot of time trying to spread myself so thin that I end up not getting a whole lot done. So I'm switching gears from movies for a little while to make some comics.
Nice. What had you had any projects that got put on hold because of COVID?
Yeah. Enter the Mind Dungeon was a mockumentary about adults addicted to playing Dungeons and Dragons. This was going to be a feature film that we had shot proof of concept material for in late 2019 and January of 2020. And we were preparing to launch a crowdfunding campaign and shoot the film over the summer of 2020. And I was already blocking locations and dates for the summer of 2020 to shoot this film. And then, kind of in March, toward the end of March, when COVID hit, it started to become apparent that it wasn't going to happen. So, COVID was fascinating because, I love making movies, and I'd love to be out, on location, on set with people, doing all this stuff. But what I found last year is that wasn't really a possibility. So I turned to comics.
It is great to have another outlet that you can visit, and that's really cool. Really cool.
Man, I feel like this stuff is so crucial to existence that doing something like that and just is basically a version of screaming into the void. And if I'm not screaming into the void via making films or comic books or art or writing, then I don't even know if I'd be alive.
Yeah, it's difficult for a creative person. Yeah, to have that taken away. It's almost like you fall into a depression when you don't have that. It's almost therapeutic.
It's absolutely therapeutic, and it's the therapy of just being alive.
Yeah. Yup. And then, visiting what you said earlier, though, it is respectful though than somebody you have to sacrifice something in your life when you do a creative project. Something has to suffer or be put on the side because you can't do it all at once.
Right, man, and there's just not enough time to do all the things that we want to do, and that's become more and more apparent the older I get.
Yeah,
and it's I almost wish I could travel back in time and tell myself when I'm 20, look, you can't do 15 things. Like, pick like one. Get one.
So talking about doing all these projects, I was debating what Rob before the show. I'm pretty sure when we last talked to you, you
he wouldn't shut up.
I wouldn't shut up about it.
Shut up about it.
I was like, I'm pretty sure Ken was working on a board game at some point.
Were you? You have to
you have to clarify this.
All right, so I don't know that I've ever actively been working on a board game. So I don't know if that was me. I had one idea for a game, and I told my friend about it, and he was like, "That's the dumbest fucking idea I've ever heard.
Oh,
you did not do that."
I you know what it is probably I just remember you talking about Gen Con, and I even see in the back of your comic that you premiered your shows at Gen Con, which is a big board game convention, if I'm correct.
Right. No, that's absolutely correct. That may be the case. And I think the idea that I had, oh man, I don't know if I want to give this away because I feel like it's actually a moneymaker if anyone ever actually figures it out. But it's like a collectible trading card game like Magic the Gathering, but it's NFL based.
I like that. That could probably work.
Don't steal it, Slim.
No, I won't steal it.
I think you figured it out, to where you had like a defense and an offense and like, quarterbacks and fucking running backs, wide receivers, and, get your defense, all that. And then you collect so they would have a booster set for every year with all the rookie players and adjust the stats, kind of like they do with Madden and whatnot.
Right.
And you could basically build your own like fantasy football team, but like a card, and then you would play your opponent.
What if they evolve like Tom Bradysaur or
right,
something?
They should
they
evolve.
can also evolve into dinosaurs.
Yeah, I know. Could be cool.
Nice. That's cool though, man. I do want to ask too, Ken, who was the hitchhiker in the first issue of Hellbound Slant 6?
Man, there was no, I never really intended for him to be anyone necessarily.
Okay.
And then I kind of floated the ideas of perhaps he's someone that will show up later in the story.
That's what I was wondering.
And the inspiration might have been, you've all seen that picture of Ozzy where he's holding the sign up and he's hitchhiking and the sign says hell.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I didn't know if, I didn't think he was Alistair, but I wasn't sure, and I didn't know if he was going to come back in the series at all.
Right, and so not necessarily Alistair, but definitely like someone who is doing Alistair's bidding for sure.
Okay, I got you. That's awesome. I do love too that I am in the thank you. I love that. That was so cool to see, Ken.
Well, thank you for helping bring this thing to life, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Yeah, no, I really appreciate that you reached out too and all. That was super cool, and I'm glad I didn't put Slim in there. I wasn't getting Slim's name in there, just Rob.
It's all right. It's all right.
But he got an issue, and that's thanks to Ken.
Rob, thanks for your support. Slim, thanks for
nothing. No. I got a free issue. That's all that matters. And whatever. I think I gave you a good idea at the beginning of this, but I've been drinking a lot. So if you use that good idea I gave you, then I give you credit there.
Ken.
Patrick Swayze. If you put Patrick Swayze in your next issue, you need to credit me.
Yeah.
Patrick Swayze occurs courtesy of Slim.
Right.
Do you have the entire story right now, Ken, or is it like you're gonna do it when you write the issue, or do you have everything in your head?
I do have it all laid out. The second and third issues are I have completed in what's called thumbnails, which is just like, pen sketches of the entire page on a piece of paper. So it's just a matter of actually drawing it. And then the fourth issue, I don't have thumbnailed, but I have it written. And I'm pretty loose with my writing, so there will be lots of changes as I go. Sometimes changes occur when something, comes to you. You're like, oh, that's a better idea. Sometimes changes come in revision. Sometimes changes come as you're making it. You're like, hey, this would be better. And there you go. But I do have the whole thing mapped out, and I'm really excited, and I need to finish it before I die.
Yes.
I do want to point out one of the coolest panels in this, and it's also your back cover, is when she pulls up to the motel and the mountains are all like demon faces, and I just thought that was the coolest thing.
Nice. Awesome. That's good to hear. That was really fun drawing that stuff.
Yeah. I wanted to ask too, Ken, Danielle's friend from the beginning, is he going to come back into it at all?
I don't think that he will necessarily show up again.
Okay, because he was pretty badass, and I'm like, I'd like to see him drawn into it or something.
Yeah, no, he's a cool guy. I heard a lot of when I was first showing the pictures of that sequence to people, and they're like, "Oh, is that dude a robot?" And I was like, "No, man, those are just tattoos." Like, he's a heavy metal guy. He has tattoos. So I was worried that his because his tattoos are like, you know, bones and veins and blood and stuff. I thought, like, what if people read this and they think he's a cyborg?
Ooh, he could be.
He's not a cyborg. He's just a regular guy.
So Ken, I didn't realize it until I said it. I was looking at the back cover and the page of the motel in front of the mountains with the demon faces, and then I put the comic down, cover up, and noticed that she's standing in front of the motel with the demons in the background. So that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you have any other upcoming projects you could tell us about, Ken?
Man, what else am I working? I'm actually like I have a novel that I've been working on for a long time that I'm kind of in editing on it right now.
Nice.
I don't know if I'm ever going to finish it or not, but who knows? We'll see how it goes. Kind of right now, just want to focus on making sure to get to finish Hellbound Slant 6.
Nice. How with writing a comic too? How does that work? Like when getting them printed, do you have to send them? Is there a company that does that?
Yeah, that's one of the cool things about the age that we live in is you can just send upload your stuff on a website, and they bill you right there, and you pay it, and a couple weeks later you get a box full of comic books on your door.
Wow, yeah, because one of our friends, Tony Grant, years ago had done it too, and it's just fascinating. Like, yeah, I never knew that. It's super high quality and all too.
Yeah, no, it's very impressive. Like I got I think it's laser printing.
Yeah,
it's really good quality. Like this option would not have been available to, I think, someone to self-publish comic books 20 years ago.
No, it would not be, or it would not be affordable. Because I used to work in printing, and the digital section of the plant did stuff like this, the glossy type inserts for the books. But it's super cool.
Right, and you need if you're going to print something, you need to print thousands of them to make it worth the cost.
Yes.
Back then.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, I can't print thousands of something, you know what I mean? But I was able to print 100 of these, and I think I did 50 of the deluxe edition, and I think the standard ones end up costing about $3 each, and the deluxe ones end up costing about $4 each.
Wow, that's pretty affordable. Yeah, no, I didn't even know.
And then, shipping ended up being about $3 as well.
Wow.
So not super cool. And it's just, I walk into a comic shop now and I look at the comics and they're like $5. I'm like, oh my God, that's so much money for a comic book.
Yes.
Even I just started reading comics again, and I got a Kindle, the newest Kindle. It's like a 10-inch.
They still make those?
I gotta brag about my 10-inch screen Kindle. But I started reading comics again, and I checked my Amazon credit card because whenever I buy a comic, it charges my Amazon credit card, and just $80 worth of comics that I've bought in the past month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, bro.
It can happen so fast. So I have an iPad that I have for basically for two things, for drawing and for reading comics. And when you see comics that you like and you want to buy, man, you can spend hundreds of dollars in a minute. It's crazy.
They get you a lot with these free services too, because I'm on that Comixology, and so they offer, it's like a subscription, so you're paying $15 a month or something, and then they offer a bunch of free stuff. But the problem is that you get halfway through the series and they're like, oh yeah, there's 10 more issues, but you got to pay for those other 10.
Right, dude. Slim, I'm going to tell you right now, straight up, I have Comixology Unlimited. It's $6 a month. It is the best $6 a month I spend.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm paying for. Yep.
Because I have unlimited comic books, and there's so much good comics on Comixology Unlimited. Right now I'm reading a comic called Giant Days. I'm into the 5th book, trade paperback. It's all free. But what you're talking about, that's how I read Lock and Key, because the first 2 trade paperbacks of Lock and Key are free on Comixology. Or no, it's there's 10 of them, and the first 8 are free, but the last 2 you have to pay for. I was like, I added that shit to cart, no hesitation, because that's one of the best things I've ever read.
Right. Once you get caught into it, you're like, all right, well, I guess I got to spend the
Gotta
next
finish
couple.
it. Yeah,
exactly.
that's where they get you, man.
Yep. I've been reading. You're gonna laugh at me, Ken, but I've been reading the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic, which is actually very good.
I believe it, man. That movie that came out a few years ago that was a Power Rangers movie was actually pretty decent.
I remember that. I never saw that. But one of my buddies
good.
at work as well still reads the Power Rangers. He told me too. There's some pretty cool, like he's all up to date with like the Batman ones. He said there's a Batman one where it's an alternate universe where Joker's good and Batman's the bad guy. Like,
I've seen clips of the
awesome.
evil Joker Batman. Like Batman becomes kind of like a Joker, but he's like a Joker Batman. I don't know.
And some of it sounds so cool.
Might be like Batman Metal or something.
What's that, Ken?
That's super cool. I like flipping the script on stuff like that. Like there was this Superman comic called Superman Red Sun, where what if Superman had landed instead of in Kansas in the United States, he landed in somewhere in Russia, and he becomes this symbol for truth, justice, and the Soviet way.
Wow, that sounds great too.
Ken, real quick, so cause I'm flipping through your comic as we're talking here, and I love your color scheme for Danielle, your main character. It's this like purple and yellow. She's got a yellow streak in her hair, and she's got a purple dress shirt open up over this yellow T-shirt. And the T-shirt she's wearing says Super B. Is there any story behind why you chose Super B?
I just figured it meant bitch.
There is absolutely a story behind the Super B T-shirt. White Zombie's album Astro Creep 2000. On the cover, Sean Yseult, the bassist, is wearing a Super B T-shirt, and that's where that came from.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's
cool.
awesome. Pretty cool.
That was a pretty influential album on my life, as was the one that preceded it. So yeah, it's just a little homage to Sean Yseult of White Zombie.
All right, and I got one more question. I'm just trying to put together the references in your comics. So there's one panel when she's walking into the hotel, and there's a guy on a TV screen. There's flames in the background, and he just says, "I blow."
Yes. There's the next panel that says, "The wind of God on you."
Isn't that Kenneth Copeland?
It is Kenneth Copeland.
Yes! When I read that, I'm like, that's
God
Kenneth Copeland. Because we played clips of him a few months ago. I love that. I do love that.
Back in COVID, back in last April, there's this video clip of him, and he's like, "COVID-19, I blow.
Yes.
The wind of God."
And he had like two guys next to
I'm
him, like repeating it, like hype man. And then he blows in the mic.
Look at this dude's eyes. I'm like, this is a demon, this guy. I'm like, this is not a man of God.
Yes.
This is an evil man.
If a demon existed, it's Kenneth Copeland. I'm so glad you brought that up, Slim, because I did forget that was in there. Oh, awesome. Ken, thank you so much for talking to us, man.
He does that, man. He's not a good guy. That's a bad man.
He's not a good guy. Not a good guy at all. Ken, thanks so much for talking to us, man. It's been a blast, as always.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Where can everybody find you?
You can go to KenzoFKC.com. That's Kenzo F as in Frank, K as in Kenneth, and C as in Carlson. KenzoFKC.com.
Awesome. Thanks, brother. Definitely keep us up to date on the next issues of Hellbound Slant 6.
Yes, and I expect Patrick Swayze and a thanks to me for including Patrick Swayze at some point.
Patrick Swayze is going to be an issue too, and courtesy of Slim.
Right.
You don't owe him nothing.
I don't want you to thank anybody else. Just thank Slim for the suggestion of Patrick Swayze.
All right, take care, guys. Thanks.
You too, Ken. Take care, brother.